So the topic for today is facility layout. It is also termed as plant layout. If you read somewhere plant layout, it is same as facility layout. So that's just another name by which we can call it. So the objectives of today's lecture or today's discussion would be to understand the concept of facility layout, and you will be able to define facility layout after today's discussion. You'll be able to know the various objectives for which a facility layout is done. You'll be able to understand the factors influencing facility layout decisions. And you'll also be able to know the various types of facility layout that can be used by any organization. So let's first of all discuss the concept of facility layout. Facility layout constitutes an important part of the factory planning. So initially, whenever we open up a factory so it's not only for the factory. So even if we are going to set up a service facility, we need to decide upon the layout. So plant layout is a blueprint of internal structure and arrangement. So what is meant by this? Generally, whenever we have to construct a house, we just draw a map for this. So which basically tells us which particular means where should be our bedrooms, where should be kitchen, where should be bathrooms, where should be our living area. So it's give us a blueprint of each and everything of the internal structure as well as the external structure of the building. So plant layout is similar to that. So means deciding upon where will be the work area, where will be the office areas. So this all comes under the decisions related to the plant layout. Layout refers to the arrangement of physical facilities such as machines, equipments, tools, furnitures, etc. in such a manner so as to have quickest flow of material at the lowest cost with the least amount of handling in processing the product from the receipt of raw materials to delivery of final product. So means the layout of any factory or the layout of any facility basically determines its cost, what will be the cost afterwards, because the layout will greatly influence the movement of material as well as men who are working in the facility. Next is the definition of facility layout. Means as defined by Knowles and Thompson, plant layout involves planning and arranging manufacturing machinery, equipment, and services for the first time in completely new plant, and the improvements in layouts already in use in order to introduce new methods and improvements in the manufacturing procedures. So Knowles and Thompson has defined it as something means as an activity that we do for the very first time when we are going to set up the new plant. So at that time we have to decide in the arrangement of the machineries, equipments, and the arrangement of the rooms. And this activity will be repeated only when we are making any changes to the already the layout that is already there. So that will be done in case we are going to introduce any new method for doing the work, or we have to expand our facilities. So only then the layout will be changed. That means facility layout is a very decision that involves a large amount of investment, and it's something that cannot be changed on a daily basis, or after some time it's not possible to change. So it can be changed only when some major changes happening in the organization. Next is the objectives of facility layout. Now the question arises, why we do this facility layout? What are the purposes we want to achieve through facility layout? So the basic objective of layout design is to facilitate a smooth flow of work, material, and information through the system. So the basic purpose I told you already, I've mentioned this, and that the facility layout, this exercise is being done in order to ensure the smooth flow of material, men, as well as the information within the facility. Another objectives could include proper and effective utilization of floor space. So whatever floor space we have, so that floor space should be effectively utilized. To ensure optimum utilization of man space and machines. So this is another objective. We just want to make the best use of all the resources we have, be it our machinery, be it the floor space, or be it the men that are the employees. Or next is to minimize material handling and transportation costs. This will lead to economical handling of materials. So facility layout is decided in a manner to ensure the smooth flow of material, and this is done with the objective to cut down the cost of material handling. Because means if we are doing the work in a sequence, then maybe we can make use of the conveyor belt. We need not employ people to move material to and fro in the organization. So this way our cost will be cut down. So if means two processes that have to be done one after another are not in a sequence, their buildings are not in a sequence, then obviously from one area we have to go to the far flung area to move the material, and it will increase the cost because time involved will be more. We need to engage in more people to move the material, so it will increase our cost. So the objective of facility layout is to cut down on the material handling as well as the transportation cost involved. Next is to minimize production delays. So we want to exercise, we want to decide on the best layout which will help us to minimize the delays in the production, to provide adequate and conveniently located service centers. So because all the machineries and equipments we are using are need to be maintained, so the service centers should be conveniently located. Next is to ensure efficient supervision of workers. So because every industry, they employ some people, then employ supervisors or inspectors to supervise their workers, to ensure that they are regularly working, they are not wasting any time while they are working in the organization. So while deciding on the layout, there should be consideration given to how to supervise, from where to supervise. To reduce the chances of delay and bottlenecks in the production system, this will lead to good workflow. So means the purpose of facility layout is to ensure the smooth flow of work, and all the attempt is made to remove any bottlenecks in between that can means halt our production. To ensure efficient planning and control over equipment and processes. So means facility layout is decided in a manner so that the efficient planning and control can be exercised over the different processes that are being undertaken. Another objective is to ensure the safety. Means layout is decided in a manner so that the safety of the people who are working in the organization should be ensured. Next is the factors affecting plant layout. A plant layout should act as a pacemaker. Pacemaker means speed maker, not a speed breaker. So means plant layout is being decided in order to improve the speed of working. It's not to break the speed of working. Hence, decisions regarding it is really difficult and complicated. The success or the failure of an entrepreneur rests on the quality and efficiency of plant layout. Because while an appropriate plant layout results in a lot of benefits, a misfit plant layout brings some disaster results. So the layout is very important this season. So from the discussion till now, you have realized this fact that this decision is quite important. And any means flaw while deciding on the layout can bring about disastrous results, because it will lead to the production delays, it will lead to the slow work, then it can lead to the problems of low morale in employees. So to avoid this, it should be carefully done. This exercise should be carefully done. So the factors that affects plant layout is, first of all, it is the policies and decisions of the management. The policies on decisions of management can considerably affect the plant layout decisions. So in all the enterprises, major policies decisions are taken by the management only. So the nature and the type of plant layout that we will be using depends upon the managerial decisions regarding the size of business, the nature of the business, and the type of products to be manufactured. Possibility of future expansion, plan concerning integration of various facilities within the industrial unit, amount of inventory to be kept in stock, etc. So means all these things has to be decided by the management, and then the decision related to plant layout is greatly dependent upon these decisions. Next is the location of plant. So this is another factor which can greatly influence the plant layout decisions. The shape and size, the climate wherein the location of plant is, the type of soil, the general environment of the site influence the layout of the plant. So these location factors affect the building and the arrangement of building and the arrangement of general facilities needed for smooth operations of the plant. Next is the type of manufacturing process. Yeah, so we have already done the various production systems that we can make use of. It could be job production system, or it could be the batch production system. That means broadly it could be either continuous production system or the intermittent production systems. So the decision related to the layout is influenced by the type of manufacturing process that is being used by the organization. So because all of these production systems have some unique features which are different from the others, so every type of layout will not be suitable for each and every production system. So we have to decide the layout as per the manufacturing process we are using. Next is the type of industry. So whatever type of industry is, so a layout will also be dependent upon that. Next is the systems of production. System of production also influences the decisions related to the plant layout. So there means there are three production system, 5 production systems in total. Means job, batch, project, mass production system, and the process production system. So our decision will be based on that. Next is the provision of floor space. So our decision will also be influenced by the overall provision of the floor space. The internal arrangement of machines, equipments, materials, or the HR facility, etc., depend largely on the space available. So while setting up the plant, the manufacturer or the entrepreneur should take this factor into mind, because if we have limited floor space, then all the means it will be very congested. We have to arrange everything within that limited floor space. So adequate floor space should be made available before deciding on the layout. Then type of products that are being manufactured. Some products are very small in size, some are very big in size. Some can be produced in large quantities, some can be produced in small quantities. Then we have product that are like perishable in nature. Some are non-perishable nature. The products that are perishable in nature has to be manufactured quickly, and that it need to be stored in the adequate environment. So means the type of product that we'll be producing in a manufacturing or service facility needed to be taken care of while deciding on the layout. Then the flow of work. So maintaining the flow of work is an important consideration for plant layout. The purpose is to ensure a smooth flow of operations. So the layout of plant should be in the form of a circle, or it should be in a straight line, or it should be in a U shape. So these type of plant layout are generally helpful in restricting the movement of workers, unnecessary movement of workers and materials. And so this will help us in the smooth flow of work. Next is the safety consideration. So production operations involve risk of accidents. So while deciding a particular layout, provisions for safety requirements should be kept in mind. A good plant layout is one which eliminates or minimizes the possibilities of accidents or the risk, which makes suitable and effective safety arrangements, because people will be working. There are some machines, so proper instructions should be given while deciding on the layout. There are some machinery wherein the people shouldn't come in contact. So there is some radius जहां से जो है वो जितना ज्यादा डिस्टेंस जो है वो उनके बीच में होना चाहिए मशीनरी. दैट शुड बी केप्ट इन माइंड व्हाइल डिसाइडिंग ऑन द प्लांट लेआउट. So the production process normally determines the type of plant layout to be applied to the facility, and the types are fixed position plant layout. It is also called as the static layout. So herein product stays at one place and resources are required to be moved to that location. So this is the kind of production system which is involved. So basically the type of plant layout depends upon the type of production process involved. If the production process is such wherein the product that is to be produced is very large in size, it's big in size, it cannot be moved from one process to another process, then we'll employ this type of layout. Next is product oriented plant layout. It is also called as line layout or the line processing layout. So here machinery and materials are placed following the product path. Then process oriented plant layout, it is also termed as functional layout or the batch layout. So machinery is placed according to what they do and materials go to them. Here process means layout will be decided as per the type of processes involved, not on the type of product involved. Next is the combined layout or the hybrid layout. It combines the various aspects of process or the product layout. So combined layout is basically the combination of any of the layout. And then we have cellular manufacturing layout or the group technology layout. Now we'll be discussing these in detail one by one. The first type of layout that can be used by any manufacturing or service organization is called product layout. This type of plant layout is useful when the production process is organized in either continuous or repetitive way. So the continuous flow is the correct operations flow is reached through the layout design and the equipment and machinery specifications. And repetitive flow, which is also termed as assembly line, herein the correct operation flow will be based in a line balancing exercise in order to avoid problems generated by the bottlenecks. So the plant layout here will be based in allocating a machine as close as possible to the next one in line in the correct sequence to manufacture the product. So as I've already told you that product layout is also termed as line layout. So why it is termed as line layout? Because herein all the machineries and equipments are being placed in one line in a sequence. So one after another means the kind of, if the product has to pass through 4 or 5 stages, so all the machinery that are required in those 4 or 5 stages are being placed in a sequence. So product layouts are used to achieve a smooth and rapid flow of large volume of goods or customers through a system. So when the purpose is to achieve the continuous flow of the large volume of goods, then we can make use of the product layout. So it is appropriate for producing one standardized product, usually in large volume. So in case of mass production system, wherein the purpose is to produce the standardized product in large quantities, in mass production systems, we can make use of this type of layout, that is the product layout. So the machines are arranged according to the progressive steps by which the product is made. Examples of the industry that make use of product layout are chemical industry, paper industry, rubber industry, refineries, or cement industry. So this is one example. So you can see that means all different stations, workflow stations are arranged in one line, in one sequence. So now the raw material will be fed here, and after the sequence is finished, we can get the finished item out of that. Okay, so this is an example of a hotel industry. So they have placed the raw materials. So what will happen? So there is one cashier. Just take an example of this McDonald's restaurant. So cashier will get money from you, and he'll take an order. He'll pass that order to the people working behind him. So if you see, means all the you can see everything inside. So they have placed them all the materials in a sequence. So burger buns and patties. Then they have a frying unit wherein they can quickly fry the a patty, or then they have a salad unit. So they'll quickly assemble whatever, means generally burger is being ordered in McDonald's. So they'll quickly assemble the burger and hand it over to you. So they get they take very small amount of time for doing so. Now comes the advantages of product layout. The first advantage is that it reduced material handling costs due to mechanized handling system and straight flow. Generally, what happens when product layout is used, we can make use of conveyor belts to move the machinery from one place to another place. Along with the machines, there could be a conveyor belt that can pass on after the process is finished from the one machinery. The person that will be standing, that will be in charge of that machine, he'll put the output of first machine on a conveyor belt, and that will the person standing near to the second machine in sequence will take it from the conveyor belt and put it in the machine. So means material handling is so herein we can make use of the mechanized handling system to ensure the straight flow. Perfect line balancing, which eliminates bottlenecks and idle capacity. So means if the machineries are arranged far flung, means from a distance from each other, then there could be some bottlenecks. So the people who will be responsible for passing on material from one machinery to another machinery may take a lot of time for passing material, and for that in between, the machinery may have to sit idle for some time. But in this kind of product layout, because machinery is arranged in a sequence, so we could do the line balancing, which basically helps in eliminating all the bottlenecks. Next is a high rate of output. Because I've already told you that this type of product layout is used in case of mass production system. So the objective of mass production system is to produce in large quantity. So high rate of output is possible with this kind of layout. Low unit cost due to high volumes, because the one single type of product is produced in large quantities. So the per unit cost of production will be low in case of this particular layout. Labor will become specialized because they'll be entitled to do a similar kind of work time and again, so they'll become specialized in their work. Low material handling cost per unit, as I told you that we can make use of the mechanized handling system. So we need not employ a lot of people or a lot of means machineries for moving material from one place to another. So it will result in low material handling cost. High utilization of labor and equipment, as the people who will be working at one station will have to stand there throughout, because there is continuous flow of work going on. So all the labor and equipments can be utilized to fullest. The establishment of routing and scheduling in the initial design of the system, because this work has to be done in a sequence, and so this is a kind of rigid system. No changes are required in such systems, or so that's why all the routing or the scheduling of the task can be done initially, and it can be followed thereafter until and unless the layout is changed. Fairly routine accounting, purchasing and inventory control is exercised, because we have to maintain the inventory of the raw material and finished goods only, and that we can quickly sell the goods in the market as we are producing in large volumes. So that's why the only routine practice of accounting, purchasing and inventory control is required. So next is the disadvantages of product layout, morale problems and to repetitive stress injuries. So the people who will be working, although they'll be specialized, they'll get specialized in performing their task, but their morale may become low after some time, because they are not doing anything innovative, or they might feel that they might not get the sense of achievement or purpose, because they are just involved in doing the repetitive things. Next is lack of maintaining equipment or quality of output, as all the equipments and machinery will always be in use. So the time for maintaining the equipment will be low, and it can affect the quality of the output. Inflexible for output or design, as in the advantages we discussed that this is a rigid kind of system. The machineries once put in a sequence cannot be redesigned or relaid. So this is highly inflexible. So this is designed basically to produce a standardized good in large quantity. So we just cannot produce any other good with the help of this particular product layout. It is designed for a particular product. That's why it's termed as product layout. Highly susceptible to shutdowns. Why? So because all the machinery is arranged in a sequence. If one machine out of that stops, then the whole process has to be shut down. A high utilization of labor, so this can't be a disadvantage. Preventive maintenance, the capacity for quick repairs and spare part inventories are necessary expenses. So means because all the equipments are always put in work, a regular work, they are being utilized to fullest, they'll never be idle. So we need to invest heavily on the preventive maintenance in order to avoid the shutdowns. Incentive plans tied to individual outputs are impractical. So we just cannot give incentive to people based on their individual performance, because we just cannot evaluate the performance on individual basis. So the next layout, second type of layout that can be used is process layout. Process layouts are designed to process items or provide services that involve a variety of processing requirements. So this type of layout is more suitable for those industries wherein a lot of processes has to be performed for getting the finished product. So here machinery just cannot be arranged in the form of a in a line or in a sequence. It's not possible to arrange because processes are more important than the product being manufactured. It is also called as functional layout, or it is also termed as the batch layout. All the machines that perform a similar type of operations are grouped at one place. For example, lathes or the milling or cutting machines. So this is just one set of the machines that will perform similar tasks. They can be arranged in one particular area. In the engineering shops are clustered in like groups. So in this layout, several products may share a machine to make its full use. So in product layout, it was just not possible to produce the variety of products, but in process layout, we may produce a variety of products. So means all the particular product that requires similar type of processing can be produced. This layout is suitable for job order production system or batch order production system. So this is the comparison of the process layout or the product layout. So in product layout, the work is arranged in a sequential manner and it make use of the repetitive or the continuous processes. Whereas the process layout is here, the work is divided as per the layout is divided as per the functions to be performed. Just like an organization is divided into different departments, like we have marketing department, finance department, and then we have HR department, then we have production department. Similarly, under process layout, the processes are designed and means the layout is decided as per the processes to be performed. For example, for a garment manufacturing industry, first of all, they have to manufacture the thread or the yarn out of the cotton. So this is the first process. So all the machineries for making thread out of the raw cotton will be arranged in a one unit. Then it need to be dyed. Then there should be a dyeing unit wherein means dyeing should be done. So the processes, different processes that has to be performed, layout is done as per the processes. Advantages of process layout includes it handles a variety of processing requirements. So as I already told you, that means that this type of layout is used for producing those products that requires a lot of processing, a different type of processing. So it's not vulnerable to equipment failures because in one department there'll be a number of machines that can perform similar tasks. Even if one or two machines are not working, we can still go on with the process. General purpose equipment is less costly and is easier and less costly to maintain. So here, because we need to perform, we need to arrange as per the processes performed. So for one process, we can just make use of the general purpose machinery. We need not engage in sophisticated, high technical type of machinery. So general purpose equipment are always less costly. It is possible to use individual incentive systems because people are like entitled to do one kind of work. So their individual performance can be judged and they can be given incentives as per their individual performance. On the other hand, disadvantages involves in process inventory cost can be high. So means we have to, let's say there are six processes. So in all those six processes at a time, the inventory has to be engaged. Okay, so we need to have a lot of work in progress type of inventory. Routing and scheduling pose continual changes. For producing different kind of product, we need to do routing and scheduling each time. So it can pose a problem. equipment utilization rates are low. So a particular item cannot be passed to the next process until and unless it's been processed in the first processing unit. So till that time, the next processing unit may have to remain idle. So we can say that the equipment utilization rates are quite low. Material handling is slow and inefficient and more costly per unit because there are a lot of processes. Each and every process is in a different building, so there might be a lot of distance in between the different processing areas. So material has to be moved from one place to another place. So it may involve transportation. So it will increase the handling cost, material handling cost. Job complexities reduce the span of supervision and result higher supervisory costs. So we need to employ different supervisors for each processing area. So it will increase the cost of supervising the people. Special attention necessary for each product or customer, and low volume results in high unit cost. So if we are producing the variety, then the it will obviously be produced in lower volume. It will raise the unit per unit cost of the material product being produced. So as compared to the product layout, wherein only the routine type of accounting, inventory control and purchasing was required, herein because we'll be dealing in producing a variety of product, we need to purchase in from time and again. So we just cannot follow the fixed schedules for purchasing. So we need to continuously keep on purchasing the one thing or another thing. So all these tasks are highly involved. Inventory control, accounting and purchasing are relatively complex than the product layout. Next type of layout is called fixed position layout. So in this type of layout, the item being worked on remains stationary and workers, materials and equipment are moved about as needed. In the first two types we did, means in the product layout and process layout, you just I just told you that material has to be moved from one stage to another stage. But this is opposite here in fixed position layout, because the product that is being manufactured will remain stationary, it will remain stable, but the different parts and the different worker will move to that particular place. Fixed position layouts are widely used in farming, firefighting, because in case of agriculture, we just cannot move our farm to the different places. It will remain stationary. So the worker has to come to there, and all the means things that are needed for farming has to be brought to that particular area only. Firefighting, road building, home building, remodeling and repair, and drilling for oil. In each case, compelling reasons bring workers, materials, and equipments to products location instead of the other way around. Because firefighting has to be done there where there is where the fire has happened. So we just cannot do this exercise somewhere else. So for these reasons, this is called fixed position layout. So in another scenario, when the product that has to be manufactured is quite large in size, there also fixed position layouts are being used. So when due to size, shape and other characteristics constraints, the product cannot be moved, the machine and operator moves around the product. So examples are construction of a building, assembling of an aircraft or ship. So this is an example of fixed position layout, because the aircraft that needs to be manufactured is such a huge in size. It just cannot be manufactured from one stage of production to another stage of production. So it will be very costly to move the product from one stage of production to another stage of production. So there is one specific place given where the aircraft will be assembled, and the people will be coming to that area. Another example is this shipbuilding. Again, due to the size involved or the place that is required, so we just cannot move it from one stage to another stage or from one place to another place until the whole product is being manufactured. Advantages of this is that it saves time and cost in movement, because due to the large size or due to the inability to move the product from one place, people will move, which is rather less costly than movement of the product from one place to another. It is flexible as changes in job design can be easily incorporated. So let's say in case of shipbuilding, or if one type of labor is not available, in the meantime, we can just keep on doing some other work. So it is always flexible. Changes can be adjusted. More economical when several orders in different stages are executed. So because we have a lot of people who are required for means completing the task. So if one task is being taken on one particular product being manufactured, till the time all the people who are not required at that stage will sit idle. So this type of layout is more economical when a number of orders are being served at one time, which are in different stages of production. Adjustments can be made to meet shortage of materials or absence of workers, that I have already told you. Then disadvantages of this could be that production period being very long, capital investment is quite high. So I just told you on that day that when we start with, so means this fixed position layout is also termed as project layout, because when the project is a large time bound activity wherein a lot of investment is required, and due to the uncertainty of time involved, because time involved is quite long and time is very uncertain. So due to the unforeseen circumstances, the capital investment may raise. So means all at the time of starting of the task, whatever we have anticipated in terms of the cost, or cost may increase many folds than that due to the uncertainty of features involved. Very large space is required for storage of materials and equipments. So you could just make it out from the examples I've shown you, because there are a lot of parts that need to be assembled. So we need a huge space to store all these things. As several operations are carried simultaneously, possibility of confusion and conflicts are high, because a lot of people will be working at the same time. So it can lead to confusion among them. Next is group technology layout. Grouping technology layout or cellular manufacturing layout is made for a single part family, that is parts with common characteristics. For example, let's say means we need to manufacture engine or piston in case of automobiles. So the various parts that have common characteristics will be manufactured at one particular place. In this layout, these similar machines are grouped into cells, and each cell functions like product layout. Okay, so this is an example. So in one particular group, we have tool room, we have a work cell, there are some saw machines, there are some drilling machines, and there is office. So this is just one work cell. So means in group technology layout, the dissimilar tasks are grouped together. So the advantages of group technology layout is that it reduces material handling cost and simplifies machine changeovers, as all the means machines or tools or equipments that are required to perform one job are grouped together. So we just need not move the material from one place to another place, because In that group, one final product will be produced. Although it might be work in progress, seeing the final product, but that is one product. Means engine has to be used in a car or in an aircraft or in somewhere else, but engine is a final product in itself. It reduces in-process inventory and automate the production, but reduces the flexibility. So flexibility is not there because one cell will be responsible for producing similar kind of parts. So all the parts that are of having same characteristics can be produced in one unit, in one group, or in one cell. Next is the combination layout. So the application of the principle of product layout, process layout, or fixed location layout in their strict meanings is difficult to come across. So we just cannot find one kind of layout in one manufacturing organization or in a one service facility. It is always a combination of various layouts. A combination of the product and process layouts with an emphasis to either is noticed in most industrial establishments. Examples include supermarket layouts are essentially process layouts. Yet we find that most use fixed path material handling devices such as roller type conveyors in the stockroom and belt type conveyors at the cash registers, which is a feature of product layout. Hospitals also use a basic process arrangement. Although frequently patient care involves more of a fixed position approach in which nurses, doctors, medicines, and special equipment are brought to the patient. Faulty parts made in a product layout may require offline reworking, which involves customized processing. Moreover, conveyors are frequently observed in both farming and construction activities. So this was all about the facility layout. So now we'll